Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would chat with you guys a little bit about my 100 chin-up a day experiment, which I did pretty much for a couple of months. I thought it was interesting. I actually have some of my clients do something similar, not everybody. And I want to chat with you guys about what I learned about it, what I think people could learn from it for people who want to try such an undertaking, although maybe on a smaller scale than that. But just a quick reminder for those of you who enjoy these sort of videos, please remember to click like down below. Help me keep the likes higher than the dislikes. But let's talk about the experiment, what I learned from it, and why I quit doing it. I actually thought it was really valuable. I felt like I got a lot out of it. I felt like eventually, though, for me, the biggest downside is because of the overhead nature of it, and because of the fact that I'm really my strongest and my tendons and everything do the best with a really narrow grip. As I've explained before, for me, I struggle with full lockout like this for anything overhead, particularly the narrower grip. Wider, I'm fine. It's the narrower, and it has to do with my shoulder structure. Some people thought, oh, it's a mobility issue till they realize how far I pinch my shoulder blades in when I squat. I don't really have a shoulder mobility issue. What I have is a bone structure issue of my actual bones touch. So it's like for me, I really can't get full overhead. So when I do my narrow grip overhead press, which is where I'm strongest, it's where I've hit 225 plus and things like with a strict press. Same thing with chin-ups. I'm a lot stronger with a narrower grip. It's where my most strength is, especially out of the bottom. That I do struggle getting into that position, and it has to do almost just like bone-on-bone contact with my shoulder joint, and it's on both sides. Like, and I've always been that way. I just have a wide clavicle, and so it can be a structural issue. And I had tried mobility work for years to try to see if I could correct it, but because of my structure, I just can't. Like, I've actually done all sorts of weighted stretches and everything hanging to see if I could work on the mobility for months and months. It never improves. So there's not really much I can do there, just accept that that's my structure. But that started to cause some issues. I was having from the wider grip benching, I was getting a lot of irritation in this shoulder over here, which is one reason I've gone back to closed grip. And I felt like the chin-ups continued to, with the high volume chin-ups, they continue to kind of exacerbate that a bit. And now that I've quit doing those also and finally taken this out of the rotation within the last week, I'm seeing dramatic improvement because I'm doing all my gripping narrow grip, all my closed grip stuff, pressing closed grip. I'm sorry guys, I'm tongue tied. It's like 5 in the morning. I'm doing all of my pressing with a closed grip, cutting some of this stuff out. Now the problem is alleviating, and it's not prevented me from being strong or lifting. It's just that it's irritated. And we don't want to have inflammation of joints or tendons. That's not a good thing chronically to have. Not only is it uncomfortable, it can in the long term lead to injuries if you just ignore these things. And for me, being in my 40s, I really, really have to pay attention to shoulder health. That's something that's going to be very important to me moving forward because I'm trying to build a big bench press again, trying to get a lot stronger on a lot of lifts, and maintaining good shoulder health to the best of my ability is going to be important. And so anything that's causing some chronic inflammation, and I think in that case, it's because I do get that kind of almost that bone-on-bone contact that seems to occur in those positions, that doing large volumes of it does start to accumulate some inflammation in that area. And that's just not ideal for me. Now, did I feel like I got a lot out of it? Yeah, it was a very good learning experience. And I have a lot of my clients do it. And I'm going to say there are certain people who are going to benefit from this. From if you wanted to undertake something like this. It's largely a time management thing. Because for me, when I started, people had said, oh, you're doing really low reps. That's not going to do anything. Other than it did. I built up. Yeah, I used to do like sets of 5. And I built up starting with like 50 a day. Then I finally built up to 100, and I had told people, look, I'm spaced all through the day. I'm doing 20 sets of 5. Well, eventually, that turned into sets of 10. Because when you get good at doing chin-ups all the time, your work capacity goes up. And even me weighing 220, I was doing sets of 10. And I finally had gotten, for maybe the last 2 weeks of the experiment, I wasn't spacing them out through the day. I did all of them inside of a couple hours. So I was doing my 100 chin-ups maybe within a 3-hour window in the afternoon, after all my other training was done. But I had to kind of schedule it. It was kind of problematic scheduling other stuff, dealing with clients, certain aspects of my life. in the afternoons because I try to get most of my work done in the morning. And so that became problematic as far as scheduling goes. But I did get to a point to where I was doing 10 sets of 10 within 2 to 3 hours every day. And I think at least one day I did all 10 sets of 10 inside of a single hour. So it was 100 chin-ups done inside of an hour during at least one of the days. And that's where I had kind of gotten to my peak strength with doing them every day, to where I literally managed to get in and do them a set every 3 to 4 minutes for 10 sets of 10. And I think that was the best work density I ended up getting on them. What I learned about a lot of it, though, was a lot about my hand position. This is one reason I feel like I can come back and do curls now without dealing with my old issue. The other issue I run into on this side is that I have a previous bicep tear. And this tendon gets inflamed. And a lot of supine stuff can really bother me, including curls. Also makes the shoulder get irritated a little easier because that bicep pulls on that area, because my bicep is going to be a bit shorter in this arm due to the surgical reattachment and other stuff and tissue loss that's occurred. My bicep tends to be a little tighter. So I do have to be aware that that can pull on things. And this is an injury from over 15 years ago. This is a long, long time ago. But I feel like it gave me a good ability to learn to find hand positions and everything that doesn't cause the tendonitis. It doesn't cause that tendon to get inflamed. And by doing lots and lots of chin-ups, what you start to find very quickly is that you learn things about yourself. You start to learn what elbow positions and movement positions and hand positions allow you to not get tendon inflammation. And I started learning the more and more as I started accumulating large numbers of chin-ups. When you start approaching 100 every day, anything past 50, you have to start devising strategies in the way that you do chin-ups to make things not hurt, to not get tendonitis. And what I found was that I started finding movement patterns and grip positions that didn't cause any forearm pain, didn't cause any tendonitis. And it taught me a lot about my body. I had to learn a lot of things about how to grip it to avoid callus tearing and wearing through calluses and causing problems with your calluses. Because you can either build calluses up or you can have painful hands that hurt that starts affecting your deadlifting and stuff. And I started finding a lot of things about gripping. I started learning that, if I maintain a grip like this, underhand grip it like this, fingers over and then thumb over, in this position for all of my chin-ups, and keeping, again, the wrist back, not this, definitely not this, but the wrist back. It worked very well for my callus formation. It worked very well for avoiding forearm pain, especially, again, for this point of attachment down here. It worked extremely well for avoiding the tendonitis. What I found is that elbows forward at the bottom, making sure when I start each rep from the hang at the bottom that I turn my elbows inward, maintain that grip, and keep the thumbs up over the bar. I also found that the grip strength gains were very good. You guys have noticed, a lot of people noticed my grip strength has gotten better. I went back to mixed grip. And while doing this chin-up experiment, you guys have seen me do 600 plus pound pulls, right? With the mixed grip, without my grip giving out. Like I did that first 600 pound block pull, I held it for a couple seconds at the top and then set it down under control. I feel like doing 100 chin-ups every day improved my grip strength. It was free grip training. It helps with, if done correctly, you learn a lot about callus formation on your hand. You start learning how to grip the bar in a way that helps with callus formation, improves overall grip because of the way I was doing it. It was really good grip work. So I learned a lot about not only movement patterns that seem to work really well for my tendons and help me work around that old previous injury from 15 years ago, coming up 16 years at this point, but it also helped my grip a lot. And I feel like my biceps grew a little bit. I am known historically, one of the things I'm known for is not having good bicep development. And it's not because of not training. Like people have to remember, I used to do tons and tons of very strict incline curls with dumbbells for high reps. Not 5s, not 6s. I used to do 10 to 15 reps all the time. Bodybuilder style. And I think that surprised a lot of people years ago because like, oh wow, once they actually saw me filming some of them, I actually had people say, well, why do your biceps suck? You're actually doing these really, really well. And if you've been doing them well, I'm like, I've been doing them for years and years. strict, great, amazing curls with dumbbells, concentration curls, incline curls, stuff like that, don't really seem to do anything for my biceps. My biceps just don't grow that well from it. It's just the way my body responds. Even doing them with really high reps, like bodybuilders do, and being strict and controlled, doesn't really work that well for me. I feel like the chin-up experiment actually put a little bit of size on my arms. They're not massive, but a lot of people noted in the comment section, like, yeah, your arms actually do look bigger. That seems to be helping. So I feel like I got some bicep development out of it. I feel like my back even grew a little bit out of it. I learned a lot about my tendons. It helped with my grip training. So who is this useful for? People who have limited time in the gym. Because the chin-ups can be done at home, they can be done on your off time, they can be spread out through the day. A really high volume chin-up experiment like this, or adding them in for people who have limited gym time. Like when you get to the gym and it's busy and stuff and you really can only get an hour or so in. I have clients like that. I have clients who need extra back work, but those same clients can only get to the gym for an hour, and they can only do it, say, on weekdays or whatever. So if you can only get to the gym for an hour 4 times a week to get your real training in, that's going to severely limit your upper and mid back work, because you're going to have to do so many other things if you're trying to maximize your size and strength. There's so much other stuff that you have to get done that if you have something like this that you could do at home on your own time away from the gym at your own pace when you're relaxing in the afternoons, all right, that helps a lot. Same thing, the extra grip work for someone who has limited gym time that they get from it. That is tremendous. People who have a sedentary job, being able to just do some chin-ups through the day. All right, that helps. So for people who are in those situations, I think this works. And for clients of mine who are in some of those situations, this is what I prescribe for them. Now, for me, I feel like at this point moving forward, it was a valuable experience, valuable experiment, something that's useful for my clients, useful for my audience. I learned a lot about myself doing it. But I'm going to go back over to rows so that I can film it every day on camera. I can get my whole workout done in the morning and then only minor supplemental stuff in the afternoon. But it also taught me that I can do supine grip stuff without the tendonitis if I'm careful of hand positions and I'm careful of loading. And so now I feel like I can do curls again. So I think for me personally, just during my normal workouts of doing rows every one of my workouts, because again, as a power lifter, strength athlete, rows every workout's not that uncommon. I feel like doing rows every day for me will handle what I need for the back, will carry over really well to everything I'm doing, and then I can just put curls in on my upper body days. Tack them on at the end of the workout and superset them with my triceps. And again, get the response I need as far as keeping my biceps moving forward in terms of development. Because at the end of the day, curls still work. But in this case, for me, they have historically oftentimes been a problem due to the tendonitis. But doing that many chin-ups every day, all the time, it taught me a lot about my tendons and hand position and things that I can do to avoid that. And so I'm taking those same lessons with the chin-up, and I'm trying to actually grip all my curls the same way as far as hand position and spacing goes. And I'm noticing it doesn't cause any irritation to the tendon so far. So hopefully that lesson learned from the chin-up, I can carry over to other movement patterns. So for things that I really do need to be doing curls. My biceps kind of need them at this point. So it was useful for that also. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.